It's me, Renee. I'm back. Just had to adjust. And yeah, so this video was supposed in a way a bit late. It's not late. I mean, there's no book to police, but yeah. So this is we're in March, the 4th day of March, so we're in the very beginning of March. And March is middle grade March. It's also March Mystery Madness, and it's also Women's History Month. And those are all, well, in addition to other stuff. I mean, it's not just those things that happens in March, but other stuff. But it's kind of 3 things that I'm kind of modeling my reading around this month. And you know what? I decided to do a little recommendation video to do with those 3 themes. So yeah, here you have some recs. Though, yeah, they're all books I've talked about before. So if you've been here before, hey, another nudge to read these books. And yeah, let's start. We have women's history. So we have no. Do we? No, yeah, sorry, I'm being stupid. We have mystery, which I suppose could also be women's history because, well, it doesn't talk about real life persons, people, but it's historical fiction. And it's realistic historical. It's not historical fantasy, it's historical fiction. So it was it could have happened, but yeah. Anyway, I'm talking about The Girl Is Trouble by Catherine Miller Haynes. So I've talked about this one before, but it's been quite a while. So this is the second book in a duology. The first one is The Girl Is Murder. And this is set during the Second World War in the United States. And it's set around Iris. And she kind of has to navigate being half Jewish. Her mom is Jewish. Well, she's not half Jewish, she's Jewish. And, you know, in the Second World War, and then she also has to solve some crimes because her dad is a private eye. So there's mystery in historical fiction context. And yeah, this book is just very good. If you like Veronica Mars, I would say check out this. It kind of gives me Veronica Mars feelings, though set in the past. But yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, as I would say, check it out. To do a few books for every month for every theme. So now we have The Secret of Chimneys by Agatha Christie. Of course, had to use an Agatha Christie book. And this, I suppose, in a way, it's one of the less known books because it's not a Hercule Poirot book or Miss Marple book or Tommy and Tuppence book. This is with Anthony Cade. Now, this is also me being a bit silly because I read this, I think, around 10 years ago. I don't remember that much about it, but I remember really enjoying it. So, yeah, 10 years ago, me really enjoyed this book. So you will enjoy it as well. Yeah. So those 2, yeah, I'm thinking of someone. Yeah, you know what? Okay, give a moment. Talk about again The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. Talked about it quite a lot lately, but it's an amazing mystery read. It's so funny, great characters. Honestly, one of the favorite reads I've read ever in my life. It's just amazing. I don't have one gripe with this book. Not one gripe at all. It's just so freaking amazing. And yeah, everyone should read it. Then that's the mystery reads I kind of want to talk about. And then we have middle grade, March middle grade. So it has some middle grade books to talk about. Give me a moment. Just kind of ready. And then we have The Clockwork Scarab by Colleen and Gleason. So this is the first in a quintet 5-book series. It's set in 1800s. There's time travel, but that's kind of the B plot, C plot. It's mainly about vampires and also curses and mystery like that. So the whole series is kind of mystery based, but it's also like with the big bats taking over the world mystery. It's not just like Jack the Ripper or someone going around London killing people. No, it's huge stakes. Stakes. Sorry, that wasn't on purpose. And yeah, it's just an amazing series. And it starts with Mina Stoker and Evelyn Stoker and Mina Holmes. So Evelyn Stoker is the daughter of Bram Stoker, and Evelina Holmes is the I'm gonna say sister of Sherlock Holmes. And it's just an amazing series. Everyone should check it out. It's just so good. Deserves so much more hype and love. Well, I mean, it was finished, but like people should talk much more about this series. It's just so amazing. Then we have a book series you've probably heard about. It is Arusha, here represented by Arusha and the Song of Death. But yeah, just kind of chose a random book in the series. And this series is amazing. Love it so much. So funny. Great Indian myths. Well, I don't really know that much about it, but yeah, it's just so fun to read about Indian myths. You don't really have that much around in books. And yeah, it's just amazing. And then we have Gods of Manhattan, here represented by Spirits in the Park. This being the second book in the series, which is a trilogy about people in New York and old New York celebrities being gods. So instead of having demigods being the daughter and sons of different pantheons, this has a pantheon where the gods are real life persons. So like Alexander Hamilton, he's a god in this one. And it's just amazing. So cool. I still haven't found the third book, but I really want to. And yeah. So that's that. So there's also, as I said, March Mystery Madness, Middle Grade Madness, and also Women's History Fiction. So with this one we have When They Call You a Terrorist, a Black Lives Matter memoir. So this is women's history in the way that it's recent history. Well, it talks about, I suppose it talks about older times as well, but it's mainly recent history. But it is, I suppose, how do you define when do the past go from being a past and history? Like yesterday, is it history or just the past? Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna call this Women's History Month workable because it talks about the Black Lives Matter movement. This book came out in 20. This came out in 2017, so it's already a few years old. But it's about that time, so it's history, though it's recent history. So yeah, I'm gonna count it. And yeah, it's just an amazing memoir that gives you quite well. I can't say it gives you insight. I don't know firsthand, but I believe it gives you quite an insight into how it is to be African American and African American and a white African American woman in the United States at this point in time. And I was about to say something else. Yeah, I've read about different stuff about that experience. But this one I felt like kind of it gave me a lot of food for thought and gave me a lot of things that I didn't know about from before. So I suppose me as Norwegian, I don't know, can't say if this one is revolutionary, like if it tells you a lot, like new stuff. If you're American, for me, it told me a lot of new stuff, and it's an amazing read all in all. So that's kind of the one that I have physical, but I'm also gonna mention Yale Needs Woman by I forgot. I'm gonna link it. But it's a great story, non-fiction story about the first females in Yale and how kind of it's both about the start of how they were finally Yale finally opened up to both sexes and to the female sex as well as the male sex. But it's also about the first few years of women at Yale. And I listened to it on audiobook last year. I very much enjoyed it. So good. Highly recommend that one. And then the other ones I kind of don't know what to do another one as long as I kind of improvising. Women's history. I'm blacking out here. I kind of I feel like I've read so many feminist books and books about female history the last few years, but I kind of tried to find some earlier today. So maybe all the ones I've read these last few years are from the library, or maybe they're all audiobooks. I didn't believe they were, but maybe they are. Yeah. But yeah, I would also kind of just, you know what? I kind of want to say mention a book, and this is me being a bit stupid, but I would mention a book called Kvinnehistorie på 200, Norsk kvinnehistorie på 200 sider, which is, as you can have guessed, a Norwegian book. It's about female history on 200 pages, so females in Norway. So it starts from the late 1800s, and then it talks about kind of different females that you haven't heard that much about. Some of them you have heard about, and yeah, it gives you a nice insight into Norwegian feminism and Norwegian female movement. And yeah, that's a good, really good book. But yeah, it's Norwegian. It came out last year. Probably not out on any other languages yet. So yeah, I'm just bragging. Talking about a Norwegian book. I probably hate. Sorry, that's a bit mean, but and yeah. So that's I think I might do another feminist book recommendations on Monday because on Tuesday you have 8th of March, International Females Day, and yeah, and I hope you have a nice weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.